championship 2 out of 3. Y'all just don't walk in and win on your name. But you thought you could. Now y'all got to deal with y'all got 2, you gotta deal with me and him. Cause I'm the assassin on our squad. This was home, man. I mean, this was home. And you know what was funny? They waited to see if we were coming.
Sixteenth and Susquehanna, otherwise known as 16th Street, was once considered the mecca of Philly street basketball. The games are not mentioned in the history of the NCAA, not featured in a One Shining Moment clip, but legendary in the hearts and minds of Philly and beyond. To tell the story of 16th Street, we must start at the beginning. Tell the tale of how this once mecca of Philly basketball faded into the memories of those that were there, only those lucky enough to have witnessed it. Philadelphia, or Philly for short, the city of brotherly love, home of the cheesesteak and one of our nation's founding fathers. From its rich skyline, the art museum, and its eclectic culture, Philadelphia and its blue-collar attitude make it one of the nation's great American cities. Living in that greatness is a rich history of Philadelphia basketball. Peaking that history are the magical days of the old Big Five games, where the Palestra became the mecca of basketball for the nation. The Big Five games were created to showcase some of the best basketball players in the city of Philadelphia. Comprised of 5 of the area's universities, University of Penn, LaSalle, St. Joe's, Villanova, and Temple, the city of Philadelphia got a chance to see in one place some of the best games to date. The games themselves sparked such intense rivalries between the schools and the players because each school and each player wanted to be considered, wanted to be crowned the best in Philly.
I seen the late 80s and the 90s and up until now, I mean, it was electrifying. I mean, the wars, man, you know, it's like you play against each other in the pile in the playgrounds, and then if you go to a Big Five school, you go against each other. It's like all over again, but this time you're a grown man instead of a 10, 12-year-old kid. Y'all going to war. Yeah, I'm with Penn. We the Ivy League. Y'all disrespect us. I'm Jerome Mile and Matt Maloney. I'm coming at you. I'm Michael Jordan. Or you at Temple, and you know, you on Broad Street, you inner city, North Philly tough, Cheney. And then all of a sudden, y'all going to war. Then you at LaSalle, you a small Catholic school, and you know, y'all probably got the smallest campus in the city, but you got game. So it was like the Big Five games were like wars. So it didn't matter who was nationally ranked when it came to the Big Five. It was a matter of what tonight we got this for bragging rights. We got you.
It was this attitude, this Philly attitude, slightly arrogant in nature, but mostly competitive in spirit, that drove these players. If you were to ask, many would say that this Philly swag came from playing in the streets, playing on that playground blacktop that made men out of boys. In a very competitive sport like basketball, displaying your individual skills is a top priority. And a close second is putting on for your hood, your town, and your city.
Well, it was always a challenge. It was always a challenge because you want to improve where you're from. Now, me being from uptown, we had a spot called Finley Playground, and all those guys would come up there to Finley. And I like to say my team won all the time. That was our neighborhood. And when we would go out West Philly, it was always a little different. Here come these uptown brothers. And then North Philly would go out to West Philly. So it was always a certain energy. There was always a certain energy attached to that.
What one must realize is that to this day, making the NBA is a dream, not a reality for most players.
Well, it wasn't that many of them. You talking about Jackie Moore? He was the first black to ever play for the Philadelphia Warriors. Who else is it? That's only a handful of them. Yeah, Jackie Moore was the first.
But does that mean you're not talented in the sport? No. Furthermore, back in those days, not many went to college, major D1s at that, for many reasons, be it financial, academic, or shifting into illegal activities. But does that mean you should stop playing the sport? No. So the playgrounds provided the arena for good area players to continue playing the game they loved competitively with pride and vigor. This arena for them was their D1 college. It was their NBA.
Toughest league I played in Philadelphia, hands down, 16th and Susquehanna. Like, it was just every night, like, you going against rival teams, and that was the biggest stage for me coming up at that time. That was the biggest stage for you to play on. I mean, you had a couple pro-ams that was nice. The pro-am in Drexel and LaSalle and all that, Dr. Foots, they was good, but wasn't nothing like 16th Street. Parkside had it, but it wasn't long enough. 16th Street was just the biggest. That was my NBA. If I ain't make it to the NBA and I played out 16th Street, I was cool with that coming up. Like, that's how big that was to me.
Started like this. Neighborhoods started to play in the neighborhoods, and then as it got better, basketball got bigger, you started going to other people's neighborhoods, which was fine back there. You went to the neighborhood, you played, and you went home. And from there, that's where basketball, to me, started to expand. You played, you went out to neighborhoods and some else's neighborhood, and you played against the best that they had to offer. Even though I'm from North Philly, I hate to say this, I think West Philly had more talented basketball players than the rest of us. When I say the rest of us, I'm talking about South Philly, Germantown, North Philly.
And you see all the different styles of play in the city. Like South Philly, they known for their guards. You know, hard-nosed, scrappy, guards. Southwest, they got like good offensive-minded guards. But, sometimes they used to be like, well, they don't come down different parts of the city, stay in their own little turf. West Philly, same thing, offensive guards. My era, most of the guards in West didn't play D. They was all offense, like they could score. North Philly, grimy, kind of like South Philly, grimy guards, tough nose. Uptown was the guards that could play, but they were pretty boys. They like had the girls watching them and stuff like that. So like if you wanted to go play ball and you want to see the girls, you go uptown. You go to Simon, you go to McCluskey, you go to Marshall State, you go to Finley. They all outside, Simon, playground. I went to Washington at the Left Diamonds, and they had all the women down Simon. If you want to go to get better, you play in North and South Philly or parts of West, because it's grimy, it's hard news. So that was the stereotype of the different players in the city.
A Philly basketball player, like, just gritty, kind of good at everything. Like, it's just Philly basketball, you playing against a lot of other good talent, so for you to be an elite Philly basketball player, you got to be good at a bunch of different things, you know what I mean? Like, because you're going to go against so many different kind of players, it's just like, you just got to bring it. That's why I think the heart, like, just a lot of heart, man. Philly basketball and heart run hand in hand. Like, go play a lot of different places, and teams might actually have you beat, but you just keep kicking, and at the end up pulling the game out.
It doesn't matter who you are. If you're an international guy, if you're an NBA player, if you're like a local player, it's the old adage, you kind of leave your name before you get in the game. So it's one of those things that, people know when you participate, it's at a different level of competition, and there's nobody backing down from anybody. And I think that's the epitome of what Philly basketball really is that it doesn't really matter who you are, how much you get paid to play anywhere. There's another guy that thinks he's just as good, just might not have had that opportunity.
In the early years, each neighborhood had basketball leagues in their respective areas, which were very good. But during the 90s and early 2000s, 16th Street in particular emerged from the pack as the playground of all playgrounds. It was the stage where we don't care nothing about your name, we only care about your game.
Well, first of all, it started not only with myself, but another person by the name of Levi Combs, we call him Little Bob. When we started the basketball league at 16th and Susquehanna, actually it started under Councilman George Burrell He was running for councilman at large position, and we were trying to get him known. And at the same time, Little Bob and I, we were involved in a lot of basketball leagues and a lot of softball leagues. So what we wanted to do was have games, so we started having tournaments. And we would have these tournaments once, twice a week. And then it grew into, it blossomed into a basketball league. And from that league, it started to give us the opportunity to start working with younger people and people in the community.
Then after the first year, a guy named Ken 2 took it over. And from there, it just progressed to just a phenomenal league.
Ken 2's name was Umjasisi Ken 2, a.k.a. Lewis Kearney. That was his real name. Ken 2 used to sponsor some of the basketball teams, and he had a team that he would take some of the guys in the neighborhood, and they would play for him. Most times he would try to pick the best players so he could try to win the championships, and he won a couple of championships. And from that, what he did was he started sponsoring the league and created his own North Central Basketball Association. And we all continue to help him because we used to get funding. So Ken 2 was an integral part of the latter years of the North Central Basketball League. He called it the North Central Association Basketball League. And that was after Congressman Bill Gray, who was a funder, along with Jerry Mindesire and the George Burrell League.
It basically got started because back then when it first started, it was a lot of gang war and stuff going on, and it was hard going to other areas to play because you wasn't where you from and all that kind of stuff. So what we did, me and my buddy Charlie, we used to go to other people's area and play in their league because basketball was like a safe haven in other areas. Once you would play basketball, you was free to go where you really wanted to go. And when we used to play in their league, we used to say to them, "We don't want your trophies, but if we win your championship, y'all have to come down and put a team in our league." And that's how it started getting built up. So we used to go into different areas and play and win their championships, and they would honor their bet, and then they would come and put their team in the league. That's how 16th Street started getting built up. It was areas. 16th Street, it was Style Street, it was 27th Street. It was just neighborhood. It started just local, just neighborhood. Yep. North Philly local because he wanted to give the guys something to do, keep them out of trouble. Yep. So that's how it started. It started small like that. When Ken 2 took it over, he brought a different persona because he was a city person. He was able to get money. Mm-hmm. So that's when we start dressing. We were the first championship team for the first 2 years in 16th Street.
In 16th Street. What was the name of that team?
The Lakers. The Lakers. It was me. It was Charlie Ellis. It was Ray Thompson. It was Rob Hardy. We call him Duncan Rob.
Gary Timberlake.
It was Gary Skeeter Timberlake. It was Terrell Tate. Yep. Yeah. So that's how we started. And Ken 2 used to dress us. I mean, we had the best uniform. We had the Laker gold uniform. I mean, we looked good. When we came out, we looked good. And coming from North Philly and stuff like that, and somebody look out for you and give you good suits and stuff, good satins. We was looking good. So those things, Ken 2 started putting money into the league. Money helped because he got different things. New basketball. He got the courts redone. He got the new rims and everything. So it was like new energy. He brought new energy in.
Man, you playing down there, playing where? Oh, down 16th Street. They got that league. Everybody be down there. What? Okay. Maybe not that particular season, but the following year, now they inquiring. Yo, we want to put a team in. We from West Philly. Yo, we want to put a team in. We from South Philly. And that's how that thing grew. He would dress us. We would look respectable. We looked good. And as with anything, if you look good, you feel good, you play good.
Another element to 16th Street that made it more than just a basketball game was the overall environment. What couldn't be duplicated was the tremendous crowds that were drawn to the games by having players from the different neighborhoods. This drew attention from the fans citywide.
We used to have 400 or 500 people down here doing the playoffs and stuff. And on a regular night, we'd get 200 easy. On a regular night, from Monday to, we play from Monday to Friday. On a regular Monday night, depending on who was playing, we could get 200 easy. On a regular night. And they used to, and the city used to bring the benches out. I mean, it wasn't just standing around. We had benches out where people could come, like box seats. Folks had their own seats, everything. They used to bring their long chairs out there, sit all around. You know, they used to be out there doing their thing, but it was a comfortable atmosphere, and it was safe. Kids would come over here and just run around. People used to bring their kids, and they could come and run around and have a good time.
The thing about the environment in the early days of 16th Street that is very uplifting was the community atmosphere. Aside from the games themselves, the camaraderie amongst the attendees was second to none. It was an environment where you could bring your whole family to the games and enjoy your evening of fantastic action and fellowship. In addition to this, what was also dynamic was the economic value these games brought to this North Philadelphia neighborhood. Now, these values aren't listed in any census report or talked about in any political campaign, but it is just as real as the Dow Jones. At the games, you would have many black vendors there selling items from food to clothing to art, new or old businesses there to provide a service to the crowds, which in turn brought money and purchasing power into a neighborhood thought of to be of low economic value to the city. So these games were much more than a sporting event. It was a business district in the heart of North Philly.
One thing you gotta remember about 16th Street, what a lot of people don't understand, it helped the economy out of that neighborhood. By you having people selling fish platters, hot dogs, candy, water ice, the little local mom or papa was able to make them like $100, $125 a night out there. That's good money.
Our camaraderie with the community helped us because people, it was an avenue for people to have something to do after work. When they came after work, they didn't have to go home. They could eat here. They would come 6:30, they'd be here. So they didn't have to worry about going home and eat. They had plenty of food, they had entertainment, they had good basketball.
16th Street was the best outdoor venue I've ever been at in comparison to, say, the Rucker League in New York. And I say that because it wasn't just a game. It was an entertainment night, entertaining for the entire neighborhood. And I don't mean just North Central Philadelphia where the games were played. You had teams from West Philly. You had teams from South Philly. The place to play was 16th Street. My friends, who I'm still friendly with from New York, they would come down and they'd want a cheesesteak. They wouldn't want to eat in a good restaurant, but I took them to one of these games and they were amazed. They were just amazed at the energy and how, sometimes we would be playing basketball at 2 a.m. I mean, if it was the rain delays or something, we just keep playing. I'd stop it for the rain, but then when the rain stopped, you drive things off and you keep playing. The game was most important. And it was, you had to deal with the crowd. If you went up to dunk the ball and you missed, it wasn't your buddies, your other team. There'd be 400 people in the crowd screaming at you. So you were embarrassed. I mean, it was, that part of the show was the crowd.
And the crowd was amazing. They'd have different events out there that would draw thousands of people. So it was one of those things that everybody kind of knew, and if you ever were walking around with a 16th Street jersey on, people took a lot of respect for who you were as a player.
Speaking of good basketball, 16th Street had a lot of it. A lot of great games by good teams, but one in particular stood out amongst them all.
I think the next prima donnas was the Pipers.
Yeah.
The Pipers. They had that was Hank Gathers in them.
Yeah, Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball.
All of them, the Pipers. They won it like 3 years, 3 years in a row.
Well, the Pipers, man, they had like the best of everybody in the city. Like, from Hank Gathers on down to Lionel Simmons, Doug Overton, Darryl Gates. You had Derek Gathers. Dominic Stephen played on that team. It was just, they had everybody on their team. It was crazy, you know what I mean? So, it was like an all-star team, and everybody wanted to play for that team, you know what I'm saying? And they were well taken care of. So, it was a special thing.
Then it went over. Then it went over to not running gun. What was Sam's team name?
Toss it up.
Toss it
yeah,
up.
toss it up.
Toss it up.
They used to play their theme music too. And anybody familiar with the record Toss It Up understand. When they play that on the loudspeaker and these boys is in the layup line dunking that thing like it's, I mean, now people that might have been at the food carts or chit-chatting idly on the side, now their focus spins right to the court. You know what I mean? It was nice.
They had their own DJ.
Yeah.
They put another spin on it.
Well, playing for Toss It Up, it was like playing for an all-star team. Like, you know, as if Carmelo or LeBron James and these guys, like, you had like a lot of talent around you. For example, Sadi, you had AO, you had Hot Rod, which is otherwise known as Rodney Odrick. I think that was his full name. But everybody had nicknames. You didn't really know their full name. So, and also Dominic Stevens. Who else? We just mixed in different players, but it was just amazing to be around a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? And you just had to, you know, provide the different type of thing you specialize in, which I dunked and rebound, you know what I'm saying? And I just played my role, but it was a great opportunity playing with them guys. And, you know, I watched AO from when he was coming off the bench to wind up starting. And I think that through playing down 16th Street, he was successful.
I played against Toss It Up my first year down 16th Street. I had 52 in the playoffs. And, the coach and CEO, Champ, told me that I had to play with them next season. So next year I played with Toss It Up. And that was like really at sad our time of bowing out. So I like the scorer, ball handler. Me and Aaron Owens with the backcourt. And like we had dynasties down 16th Street with Toss It Up. It was like, had our own DJ, you know what I mean? Like, if you play for Toss It Up, it was almost as big as playing for the Sixers in the city of Philadelphia back then.
Toss It Up was a team that I watched in my generation. That was the team to watch. So Aaron Owens and Flip, when they would do their thing and then throw the oops, Flip would catch it. Flip cross everybody over. He wound up going to the league. So it was, them times is when I would go out there to watch. And that was a memorable time to me. With the DJs to be out there and Toss It Up had their own song to play. And it was just crazy. It was nice to see. So.
They had their own DJ who was on DAS.
Yep.
He came out, set up his, you know, you knew when Toss It Up was
You
coming.
knew when Toss It Up
They
was
brought
coming.
the equipment, they brought everything.
Who was on Toss It Up?
Sadi Watson,
Tough.
Leonard Stewart, Mookie Stewart. But they were good. But the best team that played down 16th Street out of all of them was the Dr. Foote team. Because the Dr. Foote team won every regular season game, every playoff game, and they won the championship. That was the best team. Nobody did what they did.
Ken, too, a dear friend of mine who has since passed away, said, look, you got to, you know, this is the cream of inner city Philadelphia. We've got Hank Gathers, and we got Bo Kimball, and we got Andre McCartney. We got all these great players. You got the best team in the city. Show me you're the best team. I put together a team of guards consisting of Timmy Brown, who had been all public, Doug Williams, Snooze, they used to call him, who was a great defensive guard, Tyrone Magic Cromwell, who was starting point guard at Wright State, Derek Orr, who was a star at Coppin State, but nobody knew too much about him, Bill Claiborne, who was my captain, who was big and he could rebound. He was an unselfish player who would do what we had to do to win. I knew from day one who the toughest challenge. There was going to be Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball, a young guy named Doug Overton, Derek Gathers, Hank's brother. Hank Gathers, for people that don't know, was just an absolute monster of a player. Led the nation in rebounding, led the nation in scoring. One of the only two guys that ever did that in college. He was run and dunk and powerful as you could be. He didn't just dunk the ball, he would power dunk the ball. I mean, it was a monster dunk. It was like you would think the earth rattled when he dunked. Whereas Bo Kimball was an absolute dead-eye jump shot. Well, Bo, you had to play differently. I would put a smaller guy on him to get right up in his face no matter where he was. And if he drove, he drove. We could deal with that. But we were not going to give him jump shots. Hank was the opposite. Back off him, I would say. Don't let him drive. If he drives, foul him. Put him on the foul line. So the strategy was set. Now, the guy who really hurt us in that game was Doug Overton, who nobody knew about. He was young. We didn't know he was going on to the NBA, hitting jump shots. I'm saying, who is this kid? You got Hank Ellis and Bo Kimball, and this kid's hitting jump shots. We won the game, but it was fun. It wasn't like everybody was upset. It was just a great championship game.
16th Street was different. It was different. Incredible energy. It seemed, if you were just looking from the outside in, you would think that it was just mass confusion with two whistles. And you had a man hollering, screaming, Buck James on the mic.
What really kicked it off was when the switch came over, because I went from a player to announcer. Me and Ken Two came with the idea that I would be an announcer, and that entertainment was second to none. People would come to the game just to hear what I was going to say next, or see what I was going to do, because I would always do so. I would always find a way to keep the crowd entertained, to keep them laughing.
I mean, Buck James is just a very funny guy, you know. Off the court, he's a funny guy. So when he was commentating, you know, he'd give everybody nicknames and that sort of thing, you know. He was well respected by everybody, you know. Buck James is a legend in this city with playing basketball also before even commentating.
I would always say something, you know. When you talk about the guy with the name, my slogan was, we didn't care nothing about your game, about your name, we just want to know about your game. Your game is the only thing that we cared about down here.
I'm the insane Buck James. I don't want to know your name. Just show me your game. Welcome to the Mecca, 16th and Susquehanna.
With such entertainment like this, as a player, you felt compelled to play well under the pressure and lights. You wanted to excel because of the historic value of 16th Street, and with so many players and big-time names to grace the court, playing well gave you basketball credibility. Not only did you want to play well, but more importantly, you wanted to play great, because that could have made you a playground legend. Made you a name to be talked about for years to come, a status reserved for only the best of the best. And 3 players did just that.
Like, yo, the young boy Rodney Odrick got the best handle in the city. He was shaking, baking. He was like Tim Hardaway. The time it was hot. He like a young Tim Hardaway.
Rodney Odrick. I'm from North Philadelphia. Born and raised in Blumberg Projects, 22nd and Jefferson. Hot Rod. That's my basketball name. That's been my name for so long, watching wrestling. And remember Roddy Piper? You know, he was a wrestler and his name was Hot Rod, so I mixed my name in there and made it Rodney Hot Rod Odrick. So everybody started calling me Hot Rod, and that's how I got the name. Like, I think I just played everywhere in the city. 33rd and Diamond. There's so many places that I played at, and it was fun back then. First won my championship down here. And me and Sadi, it's me, Sadi, Willie Mack, Merle Jenkins. We was playing against Stink Adams, Dink Whitaker. It was like I said, they was the champs. And our first year of our team was called the R-Stars. And we was playing them in the championship. And the series was 1-1. And it came down to seconds. And I think I missed the layup. And my big guy, Merle Jenkins, that man, him played at Hawaii Hilo together. He came over top of everybody and dunked it for the game win. You know, talking trash, you know, they have they team and who they root for, you know, but it was, like I said, it was basketball. It was fun, you know, and if it ain't fun, it's not worth playing, but it was so much fun down there. It was good times. It was good times down 16. And I think that was the best basketball summer league ever that I played in.
His era, for a guy who's still winning championships at a high level, bringing crowds, getting to the championship game, you know, having the flair and the style, you got to give him his props. Considered not only the best ball hand in town, but one of the best offensive point guards. And he teamed with another player like Sadi, and he won multiple championships up 16th Street for Toss It Up. And even, you know, at just getting to be 40, he's still tough because he's still winning championships. So you know how Philly is, different sections of the city, they might say, well, this guy not that good. Just negative, but you got to give a guy props. He's been doing this thing for 20-some years. He's been winning championships, bringing the crowd. He's a legend. AO Owens, a guy who came a long way, a real nice transition handle. And I knew he could play, but I didn't know that he was that good. because he didn't have, no high school name because he barely played. But one thing about basketball is like life. Long as you here, you can always get better. You just have to put the work in.
Aaron Owens, in here in my old gym, Simon Gratz, North Philly, 24 from Somerset, Gardner and Cumberland. Like playground, like if anybody takes away the essence of, from my era anyway, that 80s, that 90s era, it was none of this. Like nobody taught us this. Like think about it, I was good just because I was good. I just go to the park and play ball all day. I wasn't doing no drills. Nobody wouldn't teach me how to swing throughs and dribble off chairs and stuff like that. I just learned how to play in the playground. So street ball is everything. And it's basketball. It's not even street ball. It just so happened to be here on the concrete, on the court in the park. So, I mean, I was in an era where it was cool for like guys like Sadi or Rod used to come pick me up and go play ball and go work out and come get me at 9 in the morning and buy me breakfast and we work out all day and then I come back home and you come back and get me at 10 o'clock at night and take me to Gus teams. You learn how to dribble by just having the ball in your hands. So you can be in the house it's all about the feel of the basketball. So when you're dribbling, there's not nothing major you can do. I see the guys doing the two-hand drills and all that, but that's just stationary stuff. That's just to get you when you I don't know if that really translates into having a good handle, because I never knew how to do it. And I guarantee you I probably can run through the gym now with 25 kids and can't nobody take the ball from me. So it really doesn't matter. But I just do a lot of stuff that's in game, in motion, that leads to shots. Crazy. I mean, just that atmosphere. I mean, you don't really, as a fan, the atmosphere is like so dope. And then and then when you get into it, the pressure of it when you're playing, when you first start to play, it's crazy, man. Because you can just see how hyped the crowd is and the atmosphere it is down there. And then when you first get that chance to play, I mean, I played in Young Boy League and it was cool. We were playing against each other when we were younger. But then to play in that Unlimited League is like the court gets smaller. It feel like you in the gym is getting hotter. Then you're on the court, ain't no three-point line on the side. So I mean, the atmosphere is crazy.
Shaquille O'Neal did a game where they put all the guys from New York, and it was like all the radio stations. And Aaron and Sadi tore them guys up.
I mean, it was just a regular charity. It was a regular charity game. That's when Shaq had his little Twism thing, and he was traveling around playing radio stations. So Sad, Ron Murray was on that team, Flip Murray was on that team, Leonard Stewart. And we wound up being on Shaq's team. So what happened by the halftime, we was up like 30. But Shaq had street ball guys from New York, like Booger Smith, Half Amazing, who played on the tour with me, a couple guys from Brooklyn from the Kenny Kings All-Stars. So what happened was we kind of got in an argument in the locker room at halftime about, they were saying that the Philly team is garbage and all that. I'm like, no, that's a radio team. That's like radio jocks. It's not the same thing. So we got into an argument. So what happened was, by the time halftime was over, we was on the Power 99 team. So we switched over and played against them. So it was us against them now. We're down 20. Basically, we came back. I showed my ass. Me and Sad got off. I probably had like 20 in the second half. Sad probably had like 25. And we won. We came back and beat them by 10. We was down 20. So I just play ball, man. This is something I would do for free. Something I've been doing for free since I was a little kid. It's not really a legacy for me. I just happened in 96, I'm gonna say, I just happened to get off my ass, get back in school, and get my life together, and it transformed into this. Nothing special.
As we talk about Hot Rod, the prior conversation, the team Toss It Up picked them up, which was the hottest team in our 660 at the time, where they had all the big names. They had a DJ, Jake the Stripper. They wore Scottie Pippen's and Jordans. Like every 5 games, they would get a new pair of sneaks. So they was like the big time team with the celebrity street ballers. And Aaron started to play point guard for the team because Hot Rod was playing over in Jersey Shore, and it was like a passing of the torch. All right, Rod, you had your era with excitement down 16th Street. It's my time.
And last, but definitely not the least, widely considered to be the greatest Philly playground player of them all. The stories precede him, the players love him, and the streets respect him. He is
Sadi. Say Sadi.
Sadi Watson.
But he was their Jordan out there. They loved him.
But he really made his name down 16th Susquehanna, which was the summer league of all summer leagues outdoor. And the stigma on playground players is that they don't understand how to play. But in this case, it was totally false because Shaq understood how to play the game. He had an IQ like he was in the NBA, and he played the game like he would kill you softly, where he was smooth. He had a big time mid-post game, kind of like Michael Jordan, and turn around. He could beat you off the bounce in a smooth way. And he did it in a team concept. So a lot of guys, not only in Philly, but around the country, that was great playground legends or stars, they played the game for themselves. He played to win.
Sadi turns around. Yes, Sadi. That's the game.
Sad's always gonna be my one. Sad's my one. I never seen Wilt, so I'm going Sad. Y'all can take this how y'all want. Sad, the best player in the city ever. Ever.
So here we are, 16th Street, this great playground league which ran for more than a decade. It dominated the Philly playground basketball scene, created legendary names, and today, it's no more. What happened? Where did it go? Why is it no longer around? Some say money.
This is what happened. The week before Ken 2 died, we had a meeting of 25th and Diamond, and he said that he would no longer be the commissioner, that he was going to turn it over, and I was going to be the commissioner. That was on a Saturday. He died that next Thursday. And it was total chaos. I mean, people who said they would help didn't help. You know, when Ken 2 was able to get the funds to do everything, which made everything run smooth. Once he died, no one had access to get funding to do the things we needed. And once the funding started going down, and people saying they would help, they didn't help, and they would do this, and you couldn't get people to help. And that's what broke the league down, because we couldn't get no help.
And along with what Buck is saying, which is absolutely true, for me, the inside part that came specifically from the players was they devalued the word sportsmanship. Sportsmanship meant lose or win, you can shake my hand and walk away not mad at me because we played a basketball game and you lost. They devalued that. It started to be, oh, we lost to these MFers, and man, we shouldn't have lost to them, but y'all over here saying that, and we the guys that played against y'all, and we right over here, and you can't, after that game is over, after you done defused your heat level down a minute or two, you can't walk over and shake my hand and say, good game. That's what the problem became. And so now those little sequences turned into, as that group or that team is walking by the team they just played, now we getting the snares, we getting the snarls, and then that's how you get, it only takes a spark to start a fire. Anybody knows that. So, those are the things that I think personally is what happened. We started, and that was the stuff that we were taught from little wee pee. You win a game, you lose a game. You can't learn how to win unless you can learn how to lose.
Some say violence played a role. Many say it's a combination of both. But is there a correlation? Is it while violence in the streets of Philly increase, playground basketball diminishes?
The ref called a call, and these guys, they ain't like it. They left, the game continued. And when they came back, the guy literally walked on the court, shot the ref in the leg twice, and everybody ran. And then that was pretty much it for 33rd and Diamond. Nobody came back.
Would you say the decline of basketball in the city kind of started going down?
When the hustle game really came. Hustling, when the drug game got thick, basketball changed.
What you mean?
It become cool to become a gangster and a ball player. When before you were one or the other, now everybody wanted to be both. Because some of the better players hustle. But there was a place for the hustler and a place for the ball. when the two became intertwined, that's when things went south.
Do you think it'll ever change? And what do you think we would have to do to change that?
Gun control here. It's going to have to be what Giuliani did in New York. And nobody wants, Giuliani, they say he's Republican, this and that, but he got that under control there.
Do you see it changing then?
Yeah. Then you could probably go back to people going out, relaxing, and enjoying themselves. See, if you had a problem back then, them guys would fight. They would fight. Now they just, everybody wants to go get their weapons and go from there. A lot of these kids are doing crime because this is what they grow up to know, and this is also, they have nothing to do. Remember when we started, my uncle said they played baseball, and then they played basketball because outside was your refuge. My refuge was outside, but outside is not the refuge anymore. Because why? There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. Now, for instance, the Gather Center, that's like Mecca. Everybody played there from my uncle to Wilt. Everybody, that's where you went to play. To this day, they still come down there.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Cheryl, they need more money than that to run, to run programs down there.
And
You see the rims leaning?
Yeah.
They can only use the scoreboard for the playoffs. Nowhere to change except for that bathroom downstairs, which is the same bathroom from when nothing has changed. No urinals have changed down there. It's the same recreation center it was then that it is now. I was in New York City 3 years ago. We played Philadelphia versus New York at the Brownsville Recreation Center in New York. And the gentleman there who ran the center, they had throwback day.
Okay.
Sly Williams was there. Fly Williams was there. It's the gym with Vinnie Johnson and the World Be Free. All them guys are from that gym. So we come in there, and it's a recreation center just like 25th and Diamond. But we go in, their floors are polished, their backboards are cleaned down. They had computers all over. And so the guy and I got in a conversation. I said, well, hey man, how did y'all do this? He said, man, we don't put up with people stealing, and the people in our area spoke up.
It breaks my heart. Every time I drive through there, every time. I mean, you drive through, you can't but think of the games. When you see the courts empty in the middle of the summer day, no one's out there playing basketball. So it's heartbreaking for me.
Every time I drive down Susquehanna Avenue, I can hear the balls going boom, 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 boom. I can hear it. I lived it. We didn't have any problems. No one was murdered there. No one was killed on that court because we had a relationship where we didn't play that. We didn't have the gangs or the gangsters or the so-called JBMs and all that gangster crap. We didn't have that because we, as young adults and the older adults who were there, they had respect. They had respect for the community, and they had respect for their basketball league.
Although the outlook of playground basketball looks dim right now in Philly, there are a few glimmers of hope for the city basketball scene, one being the Danny Rumpf tournament and the other being the Chosen League. Although these two leagues are not outdoor like 16th Street was, but rather indoor, they attract the same type of crowd 16th Street did to watch their games.
The comparisons between the Danny Rumpf Classic and the 16th Street League is an unbelievable and humbling comparison to just think about, because we all know how competitive that league was, the memories that's kind of given the city and the people that have participated in it. So I think that from a certain aspect, so we are kind of that next generation of that high-end league, even though that we're playing indoors and they're playing outdoors. This generation doesn't have as many people playing outside once you reach like a certain level. So what we try to do is kind of grow the natural progression of, hey, let's take this inside. Let's make sure that the best players can come out and participate. So I think from our end, and just kind of being somebody that grew up, hearing the stories and watching the games on 16th Street, it's a great feeling to know that we're in that echelon and in that conversation where this generation can say they had a great game in the Rumph Classic, whereas other people are saying 20 years ago or maybe even 10 years ago was they had a great game down 16th Street, and it's kind of comparisons of would you have had a great game in that league? Any conversations with Aaron, with AO, and him talking about, he wondered how his team would do in the Rumph Classic if we took them from their old age and brought them in right now, because it's a little bit of a different monster with 5 days, 8 teams, double elimination. It's boom, 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 boom. Whereas 16th Street was more like it was an actual league that took place for the entire summer. So there's a lot of little things that I think that 16th Street did that we definitely take a look at and hope that we're kind of carrying on that league in the way that it should be, because I look at it as one of the best leagues to ever be played or ever be organized in this city, and I think that everybody in my generation feels that same way.
The Chosen League got birthed from 16th Street. Like anybody that runs a basketball league in Philadelphia or anything like that, you have to give 16th Street credit, because we all grew up on 16th and Susquehanna. Like, it was nothing. You go to the Sunny Hill game was done, you walk around the corner, you go to 16th Susquehanna, you be in the park until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. You see Sadi, you see Mookie, you see Vel, you see Sadi, you see Face, all these guys that's like, they really are the fabric of Philadelphia basketball. Just having the community cooking, something as simple as making the fish, everybody getting the food, the DJ, the music playing. One thing about 16th Street, like I said, toss it up. They had one DJ, but there was always an MC at 16th Street. So we incorporate that, having the MC, having the DJ, having the people cooking, the kids at the game, and the best talent. Like, a league can't be good without players. You can have everything, the uniforms, but if you don't have the players, it's not going to be good. And that's one thing 16th Street always had, was always the players. And even though it was in North Philadelphia, you had dudes from South Philly, Southwest, West Philadelphia. They all made sure they had a team down 16th Street to have the bragging rights.
It's now 2014, and this court, while empty, may not seem like much to anyone passing by. It may look like a deserted playground only good for a cutaway to the adjacent streets. But if you know anything, you would know that this assessment is oh so wrong. This court was the exact opposite. This court was the gateway to glory, the portal to go from good to great, and from great to legendary. The younger players would never get a chance to witness the games of the old, but they should at least know their history. Know the history of Philadelphia playground basketball and how they were a training ground for the up and coming. They should know that lessons weren't taught in the gymnasiums, but rather on the blacktop. That old heads taught you how to shoot a jump shot. That fathers and uncles showed you how to play defense and shoot off the dribble. They should know that these times were different back then, that family and community meant something, that we were all in this together, that we all are 16th and Philly.
You are part of history tonight. You are part of history. This is big. This is the big one, Elizabeth. This is the big one. So signing off, it's the insane Buck James. Often imitated, never duplicated. I'm out. Love you.
So for 16th Street to come back, you need the right people to be in the forefront who understand the history and what the benefits it brings to the community. But then you need to make sure you have the community support, because if the community support don't work, it's not going to work. Sixteenth Street could come back. It could definitely come back. It's Philly hoops. It could come back. If we do our part, it could come back.